one who starts the best conversations on Facebook, WhatsApp, or in the group chat? If so, this is the podcast for you. Hi, I'm Eva.
And I'm Don, and welcome to Chat and Bother. This is a 15-minute podcast where we start conversations and you and your circle finish them. So go ahead and share this episode with a friend or family member so they can listen to it and you can talk about it together.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we're wearing clothes today. I mean, we normally have on clothes, but we're in the bed.
Yes.
So we usually, okay, now I'm not going to say usually because it's not all the time, but sometimes.
Last few episodes.
Yes, I've been tired, man. But I'm tired, but I have things to talk about. So the microphone comes in the bed with the computer and we record the episode.
Only slightly invasive.
Like, well, he's going to have to live with it. So speaking of things you have to live with. So today's episode came from a listener, viewer, one of my favorite people, one of my internet boos. Her name is Dr. Monique Carruth, okay? And I put out a call for topics on Facebook. If you are not on our Facebook page or in our Facebook group, go ahead and join and follow. So then you can, when there's a call for topics, you can give us your input. Tell us what you want to talk about. Ask us questions. You can do that. So she wanted to know what makes for a successful working relationship between spouses. And she had this thing. She said her dad used to say, "You don't poop where you eat."
Ooh.
I mean, I wouldn't say business is poop unless it's like bad, like really, really bad. But
he's not talking about like the good part of a relationship. He's talking about the literal.
The
mess
and so much mess.
The messiness that comes with a relationship.
Yes.
You don't want that at work.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. However, we did not follow that at all.
We chose violence.
We did. We chose violence. We did. So I can't say that. Okay. So we can say what makes for a successful one for us.
Right.
Because it's going to be different for different people.
Right.
It's not always the same. So we started our relationship. Going in, we knew that business was going to be something that we did together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always been one of the things that we have had in common, or a thing that, you know, we talked about, whether we had the ability to bond over conversations about faith, about family.
We didn't bond over the faith conversation. That's another show.
Okay, well, yes,
that wasn't bonding.
That was not bonding. You know,
that was fighting.
But it was good to be able to get that stuff out then and see early on what mattered most to us.
Yes, and business definitely mattered.
And faith mattered too. It's just that we didn't agree on everything right away.
Right.
But it was a strong, like, that's why we had the passionate discussions, because it was something that mattered to us.
Yes.
Family was something that mattered. Faith was something that mattered. And business or finance mattered to us too. So
Yes. And we used to get together before we were even an official item.
Yeah.
We would go out to breakfast before work and talk about business with our notebooks out. I know people probably thought we worked together. They probably didn't think it was a date.
They did. If they were looking at me, they didn't think it was a meeting.
Okay, so one of the things that is important is focus. So at least one of you has to be focused, but we'll get back to that. On the business.
I was focused.
On the business.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Got it.
So anyway, let's do the pros and cons. That's an easy one.
All right.
The pros and cons. You want to start?
Yeah, I'd say the first thing would be trust.
Trust, yes.
You have to be able to trust the people that are in your business. And so being able to, and by, let me clarify, by trust, I don't just mean that I trust that you won't walk away from the business.
Or run off with the money or...
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a character side, but I think there's also like a skill side to it, a competency side to trust. So I think you have to have both. Like, I need to know that if I hand you a spreadsheet, you're going to do something with it because you know what to do with a spreadsheet, or that you have the competency to work in certain areas. And I think that's another part that we probably have to be able to know and appreciate what skills the other person has.
Yeah, and what skills are necessary for that business?
Right.
Because spreadsheets, I mean, they're, well, okay, so a spreadsheet's going to be necessary one way or the other, right? But, for example, I don't truly enjoy going out and networking. I don't know who does. I mean, some people do, like you do.
Yeah,
you enjoy it.
Why not?
But I don't find that to be like if you had to rank the things that you have to do, that is really way down there with accounting.
The way you said that says it all. Things that you have to do.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I mean, I'll do it. Yeah. I do not want to do that. And one of the things that we talked about was after I do that, I'm going to do a good job. I'm going to put on my little extrovert face to cover my introvert horror for having to do that. I'm going to need some snacks at the house. I'm going to need nachos. I'm going to need tacos. I'm going to need, listen, I need everything that ends in O's, Cheerios. I don't know what else ends in O's.
Tacos,
nachos, Tostitos. I'm going to need everything. And I'm also going to need ice cream. But that's not something you can tell your usual coworker.
My brain just went through a list of my coworkers.
That you could be like, hey, man.
Hey, bro, I'm going to need some tacos when I get home. I mean, the look that's going to come over his face.
He's not going to bring you tacos. No. He's not.
And if he do, we have different issues.
I mean, you got to talk.
Then we got to talk about boundaries.
Boundaries. And that's, you know what, I'm going to say that's a con. Because it's very difficult to establish boundaries. I know we talked about that when we started a business. The kids were pretty small. Yeah. What was that?
2008. Late 2007 going into
2008. We started a business. And I grew up with two parents who are entrepreneurs. And my mom, her focus was totally business. She did not focus on how she spoke to people. She said what she had to say. It was concise, often abrupt. It got the job done because she's very good at what she does, but my goodness, it could be harsh, right? And that's the way I was raised. When it's time for business, because she was very cool with them outside of the office, right? Like we went to their house for Thanksgiving, you know.
And she had a pretty successful practice, too.
Yeah, had a successful practice, but whether it was 7 a.m., whatever time the office opened, they're not friends. It's you do what you have to do, and that's it. There was no feelings, nothing like that. So when you and I started...
So she didn't sugarcoat it.
Nothing. So when you and I had a business, and I would say something to you, like, y'all, he would look at me like, who are you talking to? Like, I don't understand how you were just my loving wife with breakfast and stuff, and then come 9 o'clock, this switch happens, and you are not nice. Like, you were just saying words. Yeah. And are they wrong? No. Is the delivery bad? Yes. The delivery was unpleasant.
You got to know how to communicate with each other.
Yes.
Now, I will say in counseling, there was a book that was recommended to us that ended up getting us on one of Oprah's shows. Yes.
The 5 Love Languages. That was something that was really, really important. You probably already caught one of my love languages, acts of service. I'm going to need them tacos. But yes, that was very important for us to figure out how to speak to one another. Yeah. For me, it is, please just do what has to be done. Right. I don't need a lot of discussion. I don't need, if these are the things on the list, let's just do the things on the list and that's it. You're different. You like to hear what you call the sandwich. Yeah. This was really great that you did. These things need some work. But this is also awesome. Right. I did not grow up with a sandwich. I grew up with meat only. Like, this sucks. Do it over.
And I can't say that I grew up with the sandwich either. It was just like mom.
Your mom, though.
No. But listen. So I know where you're going. My mom is great at encouraging. Like I think that's like one of those gifts she got from heaven. Like
Man.
like the encouragement that she gives, like she had you thinking that you are like. I remember one time I wrote a poem for class. She read it. She was like, "Oh baby, this is beautiful. Can you sign it for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Put it up there with the likes and hues up on the wall. Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, I didn't grow up with that.
So you know, I mean, my dad wasn't the same way. It was more like, "Well, go give me the rent." You know, it was, you know, it was factual. I mean, he'd joke around and stuff, but you know, my mom was, you know, more encouraging with it. So the way that you and I communicated over business, it was like, okay, well, we need to do some fine tuning here. I need to adjust to how I'm hearing. You got to adjust to how you saying. Though,
yeah.
You know? And so,
yeah. And I acknowledged that I needed to make some adjustments. I'd be like, that really came, like, there was.
It came flying out.
That just came flying out. And then, you know, just leaving the room that way. Yeah. It's probably not the way that you do things. Because I notice other people don't do things that way. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the people who work for my mom, they had a hard time, you know, adjusting to Dr. Green before work and Dr. Green during work. Like, those were two completely different people.
You make it sound like it's Jekyll and Hyde.
It really was. Like, even for me, I had a room that I was supposed to stay in, and I stayed in that room. I might sneak out every now and then, but I knew if I ran into her in that hallway, I was not going to meet my mom. I was going to meet Dr. Green, Ooh. And there was a vagrant roaming her hallways. That was not going to go well.
Sound like you was going to get dealt with.
I was going to get dealt with. So what's another... So trying to set boundaries, mm-hmm. You don't really have those because you sleep in the same bed. If you have a work disagreement, yeah, you have to know when to turn that off.
And that's I would put that in a con, like if your boundaries are not correct.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't stop. Like, look, if you left the lights on or the garage was open or you forgot to pay a bill, that comes with you to work.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you looking at me like
You remembered this, but you ain't remember to turn off the coffee pot.
Right. How you gonna ask me to change this part of the website and you ain't even give me no coffee before we left?
Like, that was rude. You know I need coffee. Like, that's not something you could do with a regular coworker.
Right.
So let's give a pro. We need a pro here.
I think a pro is that you get to see more of the strengths.
Ooh, that's a good one. So one of the things that I loved about you was that you see this. Words of affirmation is his thing, y'all. Good.
I'm listening.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I loved was that, and I'm that person who watches TV with Wikipedia open. Okay, like I have to know everything, and I pride myself on knowing a lot of things. A lot of different things. When we met, I was building websites, and he introduced me to a content management system that he was like, hey, you could be doing this so much faster. I was like, I was resistant at first because it is who I am. But when he showed me this thing, I was like, yo, okay. Okay. Yeah. And ever since, you know, I've been able to crank out these things. I mean, it's amazing when you meet somebody who can do, and I think that speaks to when you find out somebody's strengths and somebody's skills when they come into a business. I think it speaks to, you get to appreciate them on more than one level. Like if you go to work, you go this way to work, this person goes this way to work, you don't get to see them be magic during the day.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, because like, there would be moments where you could be having a highlight reel day, you know, knocking out this and knocking out that. Like if we worked in separate places, I would never see that. You know, I wouldn't see your highlight reel.
Or I'd try to tell you about my highlight reel when you've had a rough day. You don't want to hear about that.
Right.
You don't want to hear about nobody's highlight reel. You don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah, and so when I'm able to see that with my eyes, I can appreciate it. And it gives me an opportunity to be able to appreciate you more for what you do and what skills you have. Because there's skills that I can't see.
And I can use my opportunity to say, that was very good.
Yeah.
That was cool what you did. Yeah, I can do that, you know. just effortless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Check that out.
Now, they say never work with family. What's the difference when you work with a spouse versus just generally working with family?
Family can be weird. And I'll just throw that out there. Because family has unspoken expectations.
Fair enough.
You know, there's some families that think that, oh, the oldest male is supposed to get all these rights, or that, you know, or some families feel like they're entitled to things that maybe they shouldn't be entitled
or entitled to that job. Like,
right,
I'm going to get this job because I'm working for my uncle.
Right.
So, or my dad.
Right. So, like, if the expectations of family that are trying to interact with the business are not the same, you know, you have to really clearly set that boundary and clarify and verbalize things. And sometimes they're just unspoken things. And sometimes, you know, that's the hardest thing to do in families, is to speak the unspoken things and to be able to say, I know you older than me. I know you've been my big brother or my big sister, but you don't run this thing.
Yeah, and to keep that relationship intact come Christmas.
Protect the egos, you know, because then they got to explain why they not doing the thing that they thought that they were supposed to do to auntie and them at Christmas or Easter or Thanksgiving, and that's awkward.
And they have whole TV shows. What was that TV show with dude? What is his name? Kevin Hart.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good show to watch. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Yeah. I know what
but
you're talking about.
Having a younger person working for an older person, that's a tough thing.
That's an ego trip.
Yes. I remember my mom, when I came out of college, put me in charge of like fixing the financial stuff, right? And she'd been doing that at that point probably 20 years. At least 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want you to do it, but I also want you to do it my way. But I need you to fix it. And it's awkward. Then you go home and it's like, you have to make sure that you can leave that stuff there. And with family, like you can't do that.
Yeah.
It just kind of lingers. Like they remember the time that you didn't clean your room and also the time that you didn't balance the sheet properly. Like it's all just a mess.
Right. So
or,
I can't separate, like you can't separate the fact that, man, I saved you when dude was going to whoop your tail and I got you out of that situation.
Right.
And now I need you to
pay me on time.
Right.
like give me my check.
What's that have to do with this? Like,
yeah, it's hard to separate that when it's family. With a spouse, at least you haven't, most of the time, known them all your lives. And a lot of those things you learn together, and the culture is kind of built. Yeah. It's not a culture that's just there with generations of things. It's a culture that you build together. Yeah. So that's nice. So last note, because we got to go to work. We don't really work. Well, I mean, we work together now on some things, but not like 40 hours a week, or actually like 80 hours a week like we used to. Okay, air mattress in the office. We don't do that anymore.
Right.
But what about working with your kids? I know it's a whole other show.
Ooh.
But yeah.
I think it's actually probably a little bit easier in some ways and a little bit harder in others.
Okay.
So I think, for all of this, I think setting boundaries is going to be a key. I love that saying, fences make good neighbors, where the boundaries are clean, what's yours, what's not. For the kids, I think it's a little easier because, as parents, we want to see our kids succeed, so we'll do the extra work to figure out how to get them to go as far as possible.
Yeah.
Where the ego comes in is like, well, do I listen to my child tell me what to do?
Okay, now that is a hard one.
Yeah.
I will say that because I think I've worked with the kids probably more than you have. And you haven't had one of them tell you, "Nah, I don't want that. I don't want it to look like that." That thing, ooh.
They crumbled up your idea and threw it away.
I was going through the website with David.
He's a tough critic.
He is similar to what I was pre-counseling. Okay? He was like, "No, that is not it." And I mean, he will reach over you and delete. I'm like, He's like, yeah, that's not it. I don't like that. Okay. Wow, that's painful. Eden is a little more diplomatic about it. She'll be like, I'm gonna need some ice cream from her later. So
this was good, but I don't want it.
Yeah, and she'll tell me, I don't like the way that you're talking right now. She's like, I'm gonna need you to tell me how good this is, then what you don't like about it, and then what's good about it again. Like she's similar to you. She likes the sandwich. David is similar to me. He gets to the point, and now I know it doesn't feel good. It feels terrible. But I really do enjoy working with my kids. If I had to rank them, let's not do it. Let's not do it. I gotta go to work.
And I gotta go to work.
Y'all, we had a good time. We had a good time. I don't know when we're gonna do another live one, but if you have anything that you want us to talk about, whether it be live or just on the podcast, let us know. Facebook. You can let us know on Facebook. You can let us know on Twitter. Everything is Chat and Bother. You can also join our Facebook group where you can get you can talk to other people and get kind of like a more intimate look into how we do things. Okay? So we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us for Chat and Bother. Go ahead and like our Facebook page and share this episode with people that you want to chat with or just feel like bothering, or both. Visit our website, chatandbother.com, for our episode guide and other ways to connect with us. Take care.